Power and Light, River Market, the Plaza, all areas experiencing an economic boom, but the resurgence of some areas has left others wondering, what about them?
In this Save KC report, I talk with community leaders about plans to revitalize the east side and that ugly stigma surrounding Troost Avenue. Are things better or worse than they were a year ago?
Depend on what side of town you live in, to be honest. If you're on the east side of Troost and now on the east side of Paseo or Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, there's not very many opportunities.
I think the lie that we tell each other sometimes is that if the economy gets better, that somehow we can participate.
There we go.
And that's just not true, right? So when you ask whether or not things are better, things may be better for a lot of people, but they're just not, they're the same for the people who live in the core.
We're dealing with a lot of Band-Aid issues right now. My wound is gaping, you know what I mean? And you're putting gauze on something that's eternally bleeding.
We often use these terms like underserved, but we never consider that there's an overserved. We didn't create the communities in which we live. We didn't create the Troost corridor. We have to suffer because of it. We're conditioned by it, but we didn't create it.
Last year we talked about the Troost Divide line and what that means in terms of race, what that means in terms of class, what that means in terms of socioeconomics. Has that stigma been erased even a tinge in the last year?
I say absolutely not. I think it's gotten a little worse, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's gone east a little bit now to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
When we talk about the development, you got to have safe neighborhoods and safe areas that people want to invest their money in. Yeah. I think people make a mistake of making it sound like the city council or businesses, like there's a pot of money that you're just not giving to the east side.
When the city wanted to put money and develop Power and Light, they did it. I put over $800,000 into this building to buy it. I did what people said to do, buy it in the community and keep it. The city maintains 100% of the blight.
When we talk about the development and the difference around what happens east and west of Troost, we go back to 1933 when redlining took place. As African Americans started moving into neighborhoods that were once vibrant, at least according to however folks defined it back then you had flight. People continued to move. With that movement, then continued to have businesses leave our communities. No investment coming back into those communities. And so until we begin to talk about how we're gonna undo that and how we look at economic development in a very equitable manner, and it does go back to what the councilman said, ownership and being able to allow for people within those communities to have some opportunity for some type of economic growth, then this divider situation is just not going to get any better.
This is not a black problem. It's not an urban core problem. It's not an east side problem. It's a Kansas City problem. And I think it takes all of us to come together to address and fix this problem.
Well, if you'd like to see the entire Barbershop conversation in a single video, you can watch it on the 41 Action News app. And if you know of a person or group working to make our community better and safer, send us an email, savekc@kshb.com.